من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبه نستعين وما توفيقي إلا بالله عليه توكلت إليه أنيب أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All thanks and glorification are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank Him, we appreciate Him for another opportunity we have today to continue our lessons from the glorious Quran in this Masjid of Federal University of Technology, Mina. Today being the 2nd of Ramadan, 1446 years after the Hijrah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which is equivalent to 2nd of March, 2025. We are in this surah, Surah Al-An'am, that is chapter 6 of the glorious Quran. We stopped at verse 142. Inshallah, today we'll continue from verse 143. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. 8 أزواج من الضأن 2 ومن المعز 2. قل الذكرين حرم أم الأنثيين أما اشتملت عليه أرحام الأنثيين. نبئوني بعلم إن كنتم صادقين.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse, in the continuation with the earlier verse, is describing to us what has been permitted for the human beings to use and to utilize, that the disbelievers in Mecca were manipulating, declaring certain things as lawful and others as unlawful without any just cause, without any verifiable reasons based on knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that varieties of things that He has created in this dunya are for the benefit of mankind, to use, to help others, and to avoid wastages. And the things that Allah Ta'ala prohibited, or the unlawful things, are clearly spelled out by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He alone deserves to declare as lawful or unlawful. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now telling us regarding categories of an'am, the categories of cattle or livestock, that these categories were being manipulated by the disbelievers, the leaders among them, to declare certain things as prohibited and others as prohibited. So Allah Ta'ala says, 8 azwaj. 8 azwaj, 8 pairs of cattle or 8 categories of gender. In Arabic, when we say azwaj, is any other thing that need another one, that need a partner. So a wife is called azwaj, a husband is called azwaj. You need a partner to be able to make your life to be complete. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created human beings in pairs, the male and the female, and declared that they are all the same. The only thing is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shared and divided responsibilities, shared and divided their forms and nature based on their demands, what is expected of them to do. Other than that, both male and the female are creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no difference in terms of closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala between a male and a female, other than the one that excel in fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The same thing if you are with another person, like a friend, like a colleague. You take yourself as brothers, as colleagues. The only thing, the one that is more beneficial to the other is better in the sight of Allah than the other. Khairul ashab khairuhum li sahibihi. If there are two people, maybe friends or colleagues or neighbors, the best in the sight of Allah is the one that is best to the other person. So if you are a friend to another friend and you are the one that benefits him the more, then you are the one that is closer to Allah than him. Just as Rasul is saying, Yadul Uliya khairun min Yadul Sufla. The hand that gives is better than the hand that receives. It's another attitude that we need to change in our life. this attitude of waiting for someone to give you, always you being a receiver, a beneficiary. No, you try as much as you can to be the one that will benefit the other, and you become better than him before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this, Allah ta'ala said, ثمانية أزواج أي أنواع أحل الله أكلها. These categories that Allah ta'ala permitted for human beings to eat or to utilize, لكن المشركين, but the disbelievers now, حرموا بعضها كذبا على الله, they now made some part of these animals to say it's prohibited for you to eat. Why? Inventing lies on Allah because of personal benefits. Allah Ta'ala said, من الضأن اثنين ومن المعز اثنين قل الذكرين حرم أم الأنثيين أما اشتملت عليه أرحام الأنثيين نبئوني بعلم إن كنتم صادقين. Allah Ta'ala said, من الضأن اثنين, from the sheep you have two pairs, a pair. That means you have the ram and you have the sheep. They are partners to one another. Neither this nor that. Is it the male or the female that is made prohibited? Allah is asking this question. وَمِنَ الْمَعَزِ اثْنَيْنِ. The same thing from the goats. You have the he goats and the she goats. قُلْ الذَّكَرَيْنِ. Now ask them, those that are now saying this is prohibited, this is not prohibited, this is lawful, this is unlawful. Is it the male only or the female? Because the two come from the same source. أَمَّا اشْتَمَلَتْ عَلَيْهِ أَرْحَامُ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. Or you are talking about what the womb carried of the two, because the two come from the womb, isn't it? So which one are you talking about if you are saying this is lawful, this is unlawful? It's now to tell you that you are just a sort of inventing lies based on personal reasons, not based on knowledge or based on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have decreed. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, نَبِّئُونِي بِعِلْمٍ. Tell me, but based on knowledge. Tell me, but based on knowledge. Inform me. Educate me, but based on knowledge. You know, one thing in Islam is that anything you want to bring forth as an evidence, if it is not based on knowledge, then that thing doesn't carry any weight. Anything you do should be based on knowledge. نَبِّئُونِي بِعِلْمٍ. Use knowledge to confirm. And that is why knowledge or education is key and relevant and very important to the growth and development of communities, of societies, of nations, of individuals. Anything that is based on knowledge is acceptable, but anything that is not based on knowledge is questionable. So if a society wants to progress or succeed, it has to go into research to establish whatever it's doing based on knowledge. Based on knowledge. And that's why we sympathize with a community or society that relegates education to the background and doesn't consider education as something that is worthy of paying attention to much more than any other thing. You remember at the beginning of Revelation, the first thing that Allah revealed to Nabiuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was Iqra, read. And it is through that reading, through the art of reading, studying, teaching and learning, that Islamic civilization was established, even right from the beginning. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam established a community of learned people. When he came, at the beginning, it was said that throughout Arabia, you can hardly count those that can read and write with your fingers. You can count them. They are very, very insignificant and few. But before Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam left this dunya, he left a huge number of people that are well educated in various fields, educated in all areas of human endeavor. And this education cut across all the gender. For example, before Aisha radiallahu anha, you could hardly pinpoint at a woman that is authority, that is an authority in knowledge, authority. But Aisha radiallahu anha, as a wife of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was the youngest among them, Rasul trained her and became an authority in knowledge, became an authority. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam give preference to learning, to studying, that he even said that the best of mankind is the person that benefits the other mankind. And this benefit is not restricted to one thing. It's not restricted to one thing. And that is why whoever will have learned something and teach the other person, whatever it is, as much as that is good, then he acquire or he will reach a certain position with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah ta'ala assist us. So Allah ta'ala said, نَبِّئُونِي بِعِلْمٍ. Tell me, but based on knowledge. In kuntum sadiqin, if truly you are truthful. If what you are saying is the truth, that this is lawful, this is unlawful, this is haram, this is halal, then provide evidence to confirm that this is actually what is the right and what is wrong. But in kuntum sadiqin. Allah Ta'ala said, Na'am.
ومن الإبل اثنين ومن البقر اثنين قل أذكرين حرم أم الأنثيين أما اشتملت عليه أرحام الأنثيين أم كنتم شهداء إذ وصاكم الله بهذا فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا ليضل الناس بغير علم إن الله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned three things that are key and important to growth and development of societies again. One of such things is knowledge. The second thing is honesty. And the third is justice. Justice, knowledge, honesty, these are key in the growth and development of communities and societies. The absence of this is a threat to the continuous existence of a community and society. The absence of education or knowledge or the absence of justice, if injustice takes the place of justice, and again, the absence of honesty, if deceptions and lies is given more preference than truth and honesty, then the community or society will lack a future. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continued in describing things that He has made permissible regarding this particular cattle or livestock. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنَ الْإِبْلِ اثْنَيْنِ وَمِنَ الْبَقَرِ اثْنَيْنِ. You have also a pair from min al-ibl, from the camels, the male camel and the female camel. These are from the same category that Allah have permitted. وَمِنَ الْبَقَرِ اثْنَيْنِ. The same thing from the cow, the male and the female. Tell them, those that are declaring certain things as lawful and certain things unlawful, الذَّكَرَيْنِ حَرَّمَ أَمِ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. Is it the male that Allah Ta'ala declared unlawful, or the female? And in what book? أَمَّا اشْتَمَلَتْ عَلَيْهِ أَرْحَامُ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. Or what is contained in the womb, where both the male and the female used to pass through? Which one are you declaring as prohibited? Am kuntum shuhada, or were you present? Were you around? Were you there? It was sakumullahu bihada. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now admonished or declared or gave instructions regarding this. Meaning, what is your source? Where do you get all this? Where is your evidence? Is there any place you can confirm that Allah Ta'ala stated this? Allah Ta'ala then said, فَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ. There is no person that will have committed greater injustice مِمَّنْ افترى على الله كذبا, than the one that invented lies against Allah. Invented lies against Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, these lies لِيُذِلَّ النَّاسَ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ, to mislead mankind, not based on knowledge. You see, not based on knowledge. Lies, deception, not based on knowledge. Then Allah Ta'ala says, Inna Allah la yahdil qawma zalimin. Allah never guides a people that live in this dunya as wrongdoers, as zulm, injustice. So you see, three key things Allah mentioned here. Lies, injustice, and ignorance. These are destructive to the future of a community or a society. And because of the absence of this, no knowledge, then people invented lies and said this is this, this is that, even though those particular things are not true. And because of deception, they use that to deceive people, creating idols or barrier between mankind and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, while they serve as intermediaries, benefiting themselves economically, socially, politically, and other things. And all this, they are doing misleading mankind. And Allah Ta'ala now said, Allah detests and hates and do not like people that are unjust. So if you look at this, what Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is telling us is what? we should hold on to truth, honest dealings. And our things should be based on evidence. Evidence-based things are the best in any community or society. And that is why, even if it is a government or a community or society that want to succeed, let its own activities be based on research outcomes. Let it be backed by evidence. Let it be backed by data. Let it be backed by things that, yes, these are the background and the foundation behind the solution A, B, C, or D. Not just based on conjecture, just based on guess. Anything that is based on guessing will not withstand the test of time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then لِيُضِلَّ النَّاسِ, to mislead mankind. Misleading others, misguiding others is a very serious issue. And that is why Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us one of the prayer you will do if coming out from your house, that the Prophet used to do. He said, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika an adilla aw udalla, aw adilla aw udalla, aw azlima aw uzlama, aw ajhala aw yudhala alayya, aw a'tadi aw yu'tada alayya, aw aqtarifu ala nafsi khati'atan aw dhanban la tughfaru, aw kama sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet will pray, oh Allah, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika an adilla aw udalla. Allah, I ask you to protect me, so that I will not be misguided, nor will I misguide others. I shouldn't be misguided, and I shouldn't be the reason for misguiding others. I shouldn't be misled, and I shouldn't be the reason for misleading others. Aw azilla aw udalla. Oh Allah, I ask you to guide me, to help me, so that I shouldn't, swerve away from the road path. Or should I be the reason for the other person to swerve away from the wrong path? Or I should commit wrong against another person, or someone should commit wrong against me. So it means in life, pray so that you should not be a cause or a reason for somebody's failure, a cause or a reason for somebody's misguidance, a cause or a reason for somebody's problem. Neither should you be the cause or reason, nor should you be the victim. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you against that. And how will you be able to save yourself from being misled or from misleading others? You need to know what you are doing. And that is why the scholar of Ahadari, Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Ahadari, said, أَوَّلُ مَا يَجِبُ عَلَى الْمُكَلَّفِ تَسْحِيحُ إِيمَانِهِ. The first thing that is compulsory and binding on an adult, and someone who become a sort of responsible, is he should go and correct his iman. Go and learn. Go and find out regarding your iman, what is the state of your iman. Because iman is the most important and valuable thing you need in this dunya, and also you need in akhirah. If you lack faith, you lack iman, you lose everything. But if you have faith and you have iman, you get everything. Even if you miss this dunya, whatever is in this dunya is temporal, be it enjoyment, be it honor, prestige. People hail you, you have this, you have that. It ends in this dunya. It is your iman that will follow you, and that will help you even after your death. So iman, you need to know. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam explained iman when a visitor came to him in the form of a human being. He came to him, shadidu bayad al-thiyab, shadidu sawad al-sha'r, la ya'rifuhu minna ahad. A visitor just prompt and came up. This visitor, nobody knew him. Very clean, very neat, well dressed, and no sign of stress. And nobody knew him. He appeared, and he just came and said, Ya Muhammad, akhbirni anil Islam. He said, oh Muhammad, tell me something about Islam. All those around sitting, they were surprised. Which kind of person is this? Rasulullah answered and said, Al-Islam an tashhada an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, wa tuqima salat, wa tu'ti zakat, wa tasuma Ramadan, wa tahujja al-bayta in istata'ta ilayhi sabila. Islam is submit yourself to Allah, one, by declaring that Allah alone deserves to be worshipped and none other. And then the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a messenger of Allah that Allah sent with this particular message. Establish the salat, give the zakat, fast the month of Ramadan, observe the Hajj if you have the means. This is Islam, physically submitting yourself to Allah. Then he asked, Akhbirni anil iman. Then tell me something about faith, about iman. Rasulullah said, An tu'mina billah wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wa yawmil akhir wa tu'mina bil qadri khayrihi wa sharrihi. You should believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, firm believe in Allah. Attach yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, be comfortable with Allah. Belief has to do with being comfortable, being okay, being in line, feeling okay with what you believe in. So believe in Allah, be okay with Allah, be comfortable with Allah, attach yourself with Allah, al-imanu billah wa malaikatihi. Also believe there are creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah created that are not human beings, that serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. They carried out the injunctions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they were also creators of Allah ta'ala. They take records of your deeds based on the directive Allah gave them. They carried out some instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, believe in them. Believe also in the messengers, in the books. Allah did not send people to this dunya without a guide. He sent people to this dunya with a guide, a book. And this particular book and guide, Allah sent at different times to different kind of people. Suhufi Ibrahim or Musa, Nabiuna Ibrahim, Nabiuna Musa, Nabiuna Isa, Jesus Christ, Moses, David, all this, the books that Allah Ta'ala sent to them as a guide, believe in them. Believe in them. The corruption or the hands that went into this particular book and altered certain things, Quran is here, which is muhaiminan. The Quran now will determine the truth and the false and other things that have been changed in those particular book, but believe in them all. And then you believe in ar-rusul, the messengers sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are human beings like you, but they are better than you because of their communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and their position with Allah ta'ala. Allah sent them with a message. Believe in them all. Muslims respect all the prophets and the rusul and the anbiya. Is it Adam? Is it Enoch? Is it Noah? Is it Abraham? Is it Jesus? Is it Moses? Is it David? Is it Solomon? All of them, believe in them, respect them, and honor them. And then this final of them is Nabiuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Believe in the messengers. Believe in Yawm al-Akhir. Believe that life is not about staying in this dunya alone. This dunya have a limit. It has a time. But after this dunya, you bring another journey again. That is, believe that there is life after death. Believe that there is judgment. Whatever happened in this dunya, some people commit atrocities and evil and escape the law. Nobody catch them, or they are above the law. Believe that they have not been set free. They will account for that before Allah Ta'ala. And believe that all the good things people are doing in this dunya does not end here. There is a reward with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Believe in Yawm al-Akhirah. You see, believe that there is life beyond this dunya is key and very important to the life of a believer. That's why Rasulullah sometimes, if you want to encourage people to do good, you say, Man kana yuminu billahi, he will say, Wal yawmil akhir. Whoever truly believes in Allah and the akhirah, then let him do this and this and this that is good. Why? Because believing that there is a reward after this dunya will make you to do so much good in this dunya, even if nobody reward you in this dunya, because you know there is something else. So believe in akhirah and then believe in qadr. Believe in destiny. After doing all your best, after taking all the necessary measures, the end belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the 6 key articles of faith and the 5 pillars of Islam. This 11 is very important and vital that a Muslim should know these things. And that is what the Sheikh Abdul Rahman Ahadari was saying when he said, أَوَّلُ مَا يَجِبُ عَلَى الْمُكَلَّفِ تَسْهِيهُ إِيمَانِهِ. The first thing that is compulsory on an adult is to go and know about this iman. ثُمَّ مَعْرِفَةُ مَا يُسْلُهُ بِهِ فَضْلَ عَيْنِهِ كَأَحْكَامِ الصَّلَاةِ وَالصِّيَامِ وَالطَّهَارَةِ and co. He should go and learn the rules, the laws and the rules and the instructions that are related to all these compulsory acts of ibadah that is on him. You can't be observing ibadah without knowing the rules behind that. What is compulsory in this? What is recommended? What is prohibited? So a Muslim builds his life on knowledge. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying now, نَبِّعُونِي بِعِلْمٍ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. If you are truthful, tell me, but base that on knowledge if you are truthful. Then Allah now mentioned all these words, and this Inna Allah la yahdil qawma zalimin. Allah never guides, He never loves those people that build their life on injustices. Qul now.
قل لا أجد فيما أوحي إلي محرما على طعام يطعمه إلا أن يكون ميتة أو دما مسفوحا أو لحم خنزير فإنه رجس أو فسقا أحل لغير الله به فمن اضطر غير باغ ولا عاد فإن الله غفور رحيم.
Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now saying, if what you are saying, you are just declaring halal and haram, not based on any foundation that is based on knowledge. As for me, meaning the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whatever I'm doing is based on knowledge, is based on instruction from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is based on declaration by the one who owns everything, the one who owns both the human beings and also owns whatever the human beings are using and utilizing. He alone is the one that declares this is lawful and this is unlawful. So Qul, say to them, O the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, La ajidu fima uhiya ilayya. I cannot see, or there is nothing from what has been revealed to me that Allah Ta'ala declared in Quran muharraman ala ta'amin yat'amuhu. There is nothing declared as unlawful regarding what you eat or regarding what you consume. Anything you consume, there is nothing that is prohibited, that is unlawful declared by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the book He sent to me, except illa an yakuna maitatan. Except in all these categories of cattle mentioned, livestock, except if it is maitatan, if it is a carcass, if it is dead animal. If it is dead, it died ordinarily like that, without you slaughtering it, then that one is declared prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Aw daman masfuhan, or a blood that gush out of the animal. After you slaughter, the blood that gush out, this one is also prohibited for you to consume based on knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared to me. Aw daman masfuhan, aw lahama khinzirin, or the meat of khinzir, that is pork. This one is also prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَإِنَّهُ رِجِسٌ. This one is filth. This one is dirty. This one is not clean. This one is not pure. أَوْ فِسْقًا, or going away from, diverting away from the right path and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created human beings to follow. This is what Allah declared. أَوْ فِسْقًا أُحِلَّ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ بِهِ. What have been the name of other than Allah have been dedicated to that particular animal. Maybe slaughtering it for idols or slaughtering it for other things other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All this have been prohibited. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared this. But still, Islam is very considerate. Even if something is prohibited, Islam will have some exceptions. Even if you are warned not to do something, there are sometimes exceptions. Why? Because Islam is very much considerate about 5 key and important things. They are called daruriyat al-khams. There are 5 very important and key things that Islam came to safeguard. So if those particular things are threatened, then Allah Ta'ala said, فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ. Whoever is pushed by necessity, then in this case, غَيْرَ بَاغٍ. And this necessity that he is pushed is not given a kind of wrong excuses, meaning he just want to justify. Do you get the point? He just want to justify the disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means qasidan at-talazzudhu bi akliha. He just want to enjoy it. But there is a real excuse, wala adin, and it's not crossing the limits of the excuse given to him, then fa inna rabbaka ghafurur rahim. Your Lord is forgiving and merciful. Allah forgive you. So even if something is declared haram, something is declared unlawful, if there are reasons, then this particular thing can become permissible. This daruriyat al-khams, 5 things that Islam came to safeguard: hifzul deen, hifzul nafs, hifzul aql, hifzul nasl, hifzul mal. 5 things Islam came to take care of. Take care of your religion. Take care of how to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Protect that. Protection to religion, protection to life. Life is key and very important as far as Islam is concerned. Anything that threatens life, then if that particular thing is something that you can do in order to save life, it is not permissible to go and do that. In order to save life, here's the nafs. Save life. Why? Because life is something that is owned by only one. Who is that? Allah. So if you go and take life, that you are not the one that give it, and then you take it, it's as if you have condemned the whole life in this dunya. Allah Ta'ala says, whoever kill one soul unjustly, it's as if he has killed the whole of mankind. Because Allah Ta'ala, the creator of life, is the only one that have the authority to take life. Or the one that will declare that go and take the life of this or that. But killing a life, and that life, any other life. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, even the life that you have been permitted to kill just to eat, that means you kill an animal, you slaughter it. And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, try to do that with mercy. Try to do that with show of concern. Not just to do that because you just want to kill it. Allah katab al-ihsan ala kulli shay'in. In everything you do it with perfection and do it with that sense of feeling that yes, it is just because Allah permitted me to slaughter this animal, that's why I'm slaughtering it, not just to kill it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you are pushed by necessity to save life, then all those particular things that are prohibited are not permissible. And that is why if a man or a human being realizes that he's going to die, if he did not consume those things that are prohibited, is it alcohol, or is it dead animal, or is it whatever, to save his life, it is not permissible. Scholars mention this kind of qaida that is confirmed at darurat to be mahzurat. If there are necessities, things that are prohibited, now go ahead and do that in order to save your own life, in order to save the life of another person. For example, you have water now, you want to perform ablution, and the whole of the environment is only that water that is there, only that water. And then you realize that if you use this water to perform ablution, there is another person out there, he is not a Muslim, he wants to drink water. Then he now come to you, he said, oh my brother, I want to drink water, I'm thirsty and nowhere for me to get water, give me this water instead of ablution. Ablution is to serve Allah, is to worship Allah, and it's come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This person wants to drink water just for his life. Which one do you do? Scholar says, give him the water to take and then go for tayammum. Save the life. Don't say that after all he's not a Muslim. Who told you because he's not a Muslim he's not to be respected, his life? Because in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that every life of human being is a honorable life. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. We have honored the children of Adam. Scholar says children of Adam here, every human being, whether it's a believer or it's a non-believer, he has been honored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Save the life of that disbeliever because, he needed it. Not only human being, even an animal. A hadith was reported by Nabiuna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that a prostitute saw a dog that was thirsty. A dog that was thirsty, this prostitute go into the well to fetch water for this dog, for this particular dog just to drink, and because of that Allah forgave her sins and then admit her in Jannah. For showing care to a dog. Now imagine the kind of world and life we are living. You see people killing others, destroying others, maiming, destroying their property. And some will do this and say it in the name of religion. Which religion? Not the religion sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it is the religion sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are conditions, there are laid down conditions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have permitted that you have to follow before you carry out whatever you are going to carry out, especially if it's going to cost the life of another person. And I pray Allah ta'ala assist us. Not only life, even property, someone's property. That is why hifzul mal. If you are to take water now, if you are to use water for ablution, and then you realize that someone told you that, look, this particular water, if you did not give this water, this particular property will be destroyed. Scholar says, give water to save that particular wealth, resources, and then perform another thing which is tayammum. To show you that hifzul mal, hifzul nafs, hifzul aqal, and then hifzul nasal. So all these things protect your intellect and then protect the human genealogy. That is why marriage is there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, فَمَنَ الطُّرَّ, whoever is pushed by necessity, all those things that Allah said don't do. But if one is pushed by necessity, not deliberately wanting to just commit, because there are some people that, of course, you have alternatives, but because you have some reasons, you'll be going to back up your reasons with some flimsy excuses. These ones are not acceptable to Allah. And this darura, things that are necessities, you know best whether this is a darura to you. And what might be darura to you might not be darura to the other person. What might be a necessity to the other person might not be a necessity to the other. What might prompt someone to do something might not be the same that will have prompted you to do what you are doing. So, but what is there is غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ. You should do it with all the sincerity. You know you cannot do anything other than this. It's like the issue of exposing the secret of a woman before a man, for example. Now, if by necessity, due to medical condition, this must have to be done in order to save her life, it becomes halal. It becomes permissible. And that is why our scholars now say, in order to save the Muslim community from falling into all these necessities and say these are conditions, Muslims are mandated compulsorily that they must go and learn knowledge regarding any field that is necessary for their survival. If they refuse to go and learn that particular field, then all of them are committing sin. This is part of what is called fardu kifaya. Is there any field that Muslims need? Is there any field that our community needs a knowledgeable person in that area? If there is that field, then it is compulsory on the Muslims to delegate some people to go and learn that. If they now sit down and rely on others, they are all committing sin. It is mandatory on the leadership to ensure that some people are sponsored to go on. And that's now justify the issue of sponsorship. Sponsoring people to go and learn to become specialists in particular area that will be of benefit to the community in order to go out of this darura. But if there is really the darura, meaning a necessity that you cannot do without, then the unpermissible things have become now permissible. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ هَادُوا
وعلى الذين هادوا حرمنا كل ذي ظفر ومن البقر والغنم حرمنا عليهم شحومهما إلا ما حملت ظهورهما أو الحوايا أو ما اختلط بعظم ذلك جزيناهم ببغيهم وإنا لصادقون.
There are certain things that have been prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and become a final prohibition to everybody. It's prohibited on everybody. There are certain things that will be declared unlawful because of certain things that people have done that Allah ta'ala is displeased with. Meaning, it is unlawful to punish you because of certain things you have done. These have been declared unlawful because of what you have done. Not that it is unlawful in its own real essence, but because of what you have done. Like the alladhina hadu, those people that take the religion of Judaism, they have been making so much trouble to Musa alayhi salam, and disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala outrightly, not doing the right thing. They will know this is right, they will abandon it. They will commit this excuse, they will do all these things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, because of this kind of things they are doing, Allah declares certain things also unlawful to them. Certain things unlawful. And this is to tell us that, yes, sometimes your excesses, sometimes your refusal to be guided by law can lead you to do something that will bring some consequences to you, negative things to you. Your refusal to do what is right, your refusal to do what is can lead you to now a particular situation that even things that is allowed for you will now become prohibited to you. I mean, we have sign even in our lives, isn't it? If you overeat what you are supposed to be eating at the end, you will now suffer the consequences of some sicknesses, isn't it? And then those things that have been declared allowed permissible for you will now become unlawful to you. If you had followed the law, you have done what is expected of you to do, probably those things wouldn't have now been declared unlawful to you. Meaning, follow instructions, follow the rules, and then you benefit from those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have made provided for you. So Allah ta'ala now told us, another category of prohibition is when Allah Ta'ala said, now regarding the Jews, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ هَادُوا, for those that have followed the path of Judaism, حَرَّمْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ حَرَّمْنَا كُلَّ ذِي ظُفُرٍ, we prohibited, we made it unlawful for them to eat كُلَّ ذِي ظُفُرٍ. كُلَّ ذِي ظُفُرٍ, that means any animal that have a hoof undivided by this thing, like the camel, that its legs, it doesn't have fingers in the legs. So all these ones were declared a sort of haram. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, declare those things haram to them. That means huwa ma kana min al-baha'im wa tiyur ghayra mashkuk al-asabi', that doesn't have fingers. So Allah said, okay, don't eat this particular thing, even though it was formerly permissible for them. Wa min al-baqari wal ghanami, even from among the cows and from among the cattle, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared haramna alayhim shuhumahuma, we now declared as unlawful for them to use the fat of this particular animal. Look at the animal, you can eat the meat, but don't eat the fat, it is prohibited. إِلَّا مَا حَمَلَتْ ظُهُورُهُمَا, except the fat that remain at the backbone of that particular animal, أَوَ الْحَوَايَا, or the fat that is attached to the intestine. This one you cannot separate, you can consume that, but to separate the fat alone and use, Allah declared is as unlawful. أَوْ مَخْتَلَطَ بِعَظَمٍ, or a fat that is a sort of mixed up with the bones that you cannot separate. This one you can eat. You see, Allah Ta'ala makes some specific prohibitions to this particular of people. Allah said all these things, Allah did, أَوْ مَخْتَلَطَ بِعَظَمٍ ذَلِكَ جَزَيْنَاهُمْ بِبَغْيِهِمْ, this is a reward of their wrong deeds. This is a reward, we have now compensated them with this particular punishment because of their wrong deeds. بِبَغْيِهِمْ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِنَّا لَصَادِقُونَ, and we are honest and truthful in declaring this to them, meaning it is justifiable. What has been done to them is justifiable. It's not just done to them, just deliberate that certain things should be prohibited to them. No, because of their, crossing the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not obeying the instructions of Allah ta'ala, Allah added some prohibitions to them. What do we learn here as Muslims? What we learn is, let us follow the rules and then we'll benefit from the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By the time you cross the limits of Allah ta'ala, you cross boundaries, you begin to do things that you are not asked to do, then you will now sort of bring the consequences of those particular things upon yourself, which might not be palatable to you. Allah ta'ala says, فَإِن كَذَّبُوكَ. Now,
فإن كذبوك فقل ربكم ذو رحمة واسعة ولا يرد بأسه عن القوم المجرمين.
فإن كذبوك فقل ربكم ذو رحمة واسعة ولا يرد بأسه عن القوم المجرمين. If they deny you, أي فيما جئت به يا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. If what you brought now they reject it, they deny you, they refuse to accept the truth, they refuse to submit themselves to the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَقُولْ, say to them, رَبُّكُمْ ذُو رَحْمَةٍ وَاسِعَةٍ, your Lord who originated your creation, your Lord who owns you, your Lord who controls everything, ذُو رَحْمَةٍ وَاسِعَةٍ, your Lord is someone whose rahmah is so spacious and is so wide. Everybody enjoy the rahmah of Allah ta'ala. And that is why you are enjoying what you are enjoying. Otherwise, you will punish you now. So the rahmah of Allah ta'ala is what allowed you to continue to live in this dunya even though you are committing atrocities. The rahmah of Allah ta'ala. If Allah is to punish you for what you have been doing, you cannot even survive in this dunya. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about his rahmah. Rahmati wasi'at kulla shay'in. The rahmah of Allah ta'ala is so much in abundance that everything benefits from the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like in our dunya today, if it is the atrocities that human beings are doing that Allah is looking at, we will not enjoy all these bounties and blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But because of the rahmah of Allah, we continue to enjoy so many things even though we have been committing a lot of atrocities against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the rahmah of Allah ta'ala is so spacious, is so much in abundance. That is why you commit all these atrocities. That is why you reject the truth. That is why you do all these things, but still you continue to enjoy the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Islam, we are reminded about this rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that we can learn how to live our life even with those that are committing atrocities against us. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said He is Bismillahir Rahman Ar-Rahim, He is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Scholars says Ar-Rahman, the ones whose rahmah is there always for people to enjoy in this dunya. You see it every day, every now and then. This Ar-Rahmah, He now said, Ar-Rahimuna Yarhamuhumur Rahman. Yarhamu man fil ard, Yarhamkum man fis sama. Ar-Rahimun, those people that have this rahmah, Ar-Rahimun, Yarhamuhumur Rahman, they are the ones that enjoy the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning, if you look at the rahmah of Allah ta'ala, it encompasses, everything enjoy this rahmah of Allah ta'ala. And this Allah said, Ar-Rahimun. Then people that have this kinds of compassion, these people that have empathy, these people that show care to others, they are the ones that enjoy the empathy and the compassion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It means as Muslims, we are supposed to show empathy and compassion to every human being, to every created being, to everything in this dunya. A Muslim is not to be someone who is compassionate. That's what makes a Muslim to be a Muslim. A Muslim is someone who is supposed to show care and concern to everybody. Well, Rasulullah is talking about who is a mu'min. Al-mu'min, man aminahun nas. Who is a mu'min? A mu'min is the person that all human beings feel comfortable with him. All human beings, aminahun nas. They are comfortable regarding their dima, their amwal. All people are comfortable, whether they are Muslims or they are not Muslims, whether they are righteous beings or they are not good, whatever they are. They declare that this particular person is, I'm comfortable that my wealth will be under this particular person and nothing will happen to it. That is when you become a Muslim, a mu'min. While al-Muslim, man salima al-Muslimuna bil lisanihi wa yadihi. Who is a Muslim? A Muslim is a person that will never use his tongue against other Muslims. A Muslim is the person that will never use his hands or power against other innocent distinct. A Muslim is there that he will never use this thing negatively against. Now you declare yourself as Muslim. You abuse this, you tell lies against this, you do this with your tongue. Or you use your hand, or your power, or your strength, or what you control to cause harm and atrocities to others. And then you declare yourself as a Muslim. No. To be a Muslim goes beyond just saying you have declared yourself being a Muslim. Rasulullah is talking about Iman. He said, La imana liman la amanata lah, wa la dina liman la ahada lah. There is no Iman to someone who doesn't have amana. If you cannot be trusted, why do you claim to be religious? As said by Rasul. And then ولا لا دين لمن لا ولا لا دين لمن لا إيمان لمن لا أمانة ولا دين لمن لا أحد له. There is no religion to someone who cannot fulfill promises. If you cannot fulfill promises, if you cannot be given a trust and then you take care of this trust, why do you attach yourself to religion and to also to Islam? So what we are saying here is to be a Muslim goes beyond mere declaration with the tongue. To be a Muslim, you should practicalize that in the way and manner you behave yourself. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, فَإِن كَذَّبُوكَ, if they deny you and they refuse to accept you, فَقُولْ, say to them, رَبُّكُمْ ذُو رَحْمَةٍ وَاسِعَةٍ, your Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has rahmah or mercy or compassion that is infinite, that you cannot even sort of imagine. But وَلَا يَرَدُّ بَعْصُهُ عَنِ الْقَوْمِ الْمُجْرِمِينَ. But if he has declared his retribution, his punishment, then nobody can stop that particular punishment against people that have wronged themselves. If Allah declared to punish a community, if Allah declared to, send his own wrath or punishment to a community, nobody can stop that. Do not think of your power or authority. Do not think of your technology or what you own. Do not think of whatever. If the punishment of Allah declared that punishment to take effect, nobody can stop that. And that is why do not take things for granted. Because you continue to do what you are doing, and then nothing is happening, and then you feel everything is okay, everything is normal. It's not like that. It's because of rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. سيقول الذين أشركوا
سيقول الذين أشركوا لو شاء الله ما أشركنا ولا آباؤنا ولا حرمنا من شيء كذلك كذب الذين من قبلهم حتى ذاقوا بأسنا قل هل عندكم من علم فتخرجوه لنا إن تتبعون إلا الظن وإن أنتم إلا تخرصون.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now telling us all this are related to attitude, that we are talking about attitudinal change, the attitude of human being that need to be changed. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the glorious Quran so that we change this attitude, the attitude of shifting blames, the attitude of not taking ownership of your mistakes or your wrongs, the attitude of saying that it is the other people that caused it for us, the attitude of saying that no, it is this, it is that, it is this, giving excuses rather than doing the right thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, سَيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا, those people that associate partners to Allah will be given excuses if you tell them, look, do not associate partner to Allah, serve and worship Allah alone. They will be saying, لَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ مَا أَشْرَكْنَا, if Allah has so will, wouldn't have associate partner to Allah. So why are you disturbing us? If Allah has will, wouldn't have been like this. So this sounds to be an evidence, isn't it? They are giving excuses to justify their wrong deeds, that we are committing wrong because Allah permitted. If Allah did not permit, we wouldn't have been doing these things. So allow us. Why are you disturbing us? لَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ مَا أَشْرَكْنَا وَلَا آبَاؤُنَا, and our parents wouldn't have done all these things. So you are now coming to say this is this, this is this, this is that, and then you are saying Allah said we shouldn't do this and that. If He has so will, He will have declared that. وَلَا حَرَّمْنَا مِنْ شَيْءٍ, wouldn't have declared anything as unlawful. Wouldn't have done all these things. So Allah permitted. Allah has allowed us, and that is why. So why are you now disturbing us that we shouldn't do this, we didn't do that? Allah Ta'ala said, كَذَلِكَ كَذَّبَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. That is what the other people that came before them also did in terms of promoting lies and dishonesty. حَتَّى ذَاقُوا بَأْسَنَا. They continue to be given all these flimsy excuses until when finally they came to test the consequences of their deeds, until our punishment catch up with them, giving all these excuses. Allah Ta'ala said, "Qul, oh the messenger, say to them." Yes, you said if Allah has no will. You see, Allah didn't declare the glorious Quran that, yes, no, it's not true. Do you get the point? But Allah Ta'ala said, look, hal indakum min ilmin, do you have any proof or evidence? Bring the proof and evidences to tell you that Islam based everything on what? On proofs and evidences and on knowledge. If you said, yes, Allah permitted you to do this, okay, bring evidences where Allah Ta'ala said, yes, He has permitted you to do all this. Do not give excuses. So, قُلْ هَلْ عِنْدَكُمْ مِنْ عِلْمٍ فَتُخْرِجُوهُ لَنَا. bring those particular knowledge, bring the outcome of that your research, bring the evidences where you see it. In tattabi'una illa dhann, they do nothing other than conjecture. They only follow, they are only guessing. They are only guessing. They are not building anything based on knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in tattabi'una illa dhann, wa in antum illa takhrusun. You do nothing by saying these things except illa takhrusun ay takdhibuna ala Allah. You are only inventing lies on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are giving excuses as an escape route, not because there are any reasons to justify what you are doing. So what this verse is now telling us is telling us that if you are asked to do wrong, to live bad thing, and then do what is right, Allah has blessed you with the intellect, Allah has blessed you with this. Use those particular intellect to justify those particular things that have been declared to you as prohibited. Why can't you find out? Why can't you ask questions? Why can't you investigate? Why can't you use, what is the use of the intellect that Allah has given you? Is it just because you are falling in problems and say Allah decreed it? That's what some people now do. You will refuse to do what is right, then if a problem happens, you will say this is what Allah has decreed. Allah, yes, Allah decreed everything, but do you have evidence to say that this is what Allah has decreed, that this is happening this way? So do not give excuses. If you see something is wrong, or something has been declared wrong or unlawful, and evidence is provided for you, accept this particular evidence and build your life on that. So this is what this particular verse is telling us. So in continuation with yesterday, you realize that all these verses are drawing and calling our attention to change our attitudes. Why? Because those kind of attitudes were the attitude that the Prophet made the disbelievers on. Doing all these kind of things, manipulating human beings for their own personal economic benefit, for political benefit, for social benefit, giving rules not based on knowledge, declaring things as prohibited, not because there is any justification for that, and so many other things. Why? They are doing these things in order for them to manipulate the human beings. And at the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now telling us that no, these are the right things, these are the correct things. So in our society and community, we need to now look inwards, especially those issues of building our life on honesty, not on lies and not on deception, and ensuring that we build our life on justice, not promoting injustices in our community, not promoting injustices, as well as building things on knowledge. If a society builds whatever it's doing, is it leadership, is it its social relationship, is it whatever it's doing is based on this knowledge, honesty, and on fairness and justice, the community will get it right. But if the community abandons these three things, in addition to the three things we mentioned yesterday, then the community will find itself in problem. What is the first one? What's the first one? Benefit. On what? Help yourself. Okay, you are talking about yesterday. I want to talk about today. Yesterday we said yes, anything that Allah bless you with, you are to use it in three ways. Help yourself, help others, and avoid extravagance. Now today we have talked about three things that build community. If three things are left, the community will not survive. What are those things? Honesty, knowledge, justice. Honesty, knowledge, justice. So let us see now in our community, what are our attitudes towards this? Are we promoting knowledge, education in our community, or we are showing a kind of I don't care attitude towards all this? And therefore our institutions are crumbling, our scholars and scholarship is going down, and then we are abandoning our education. Is it what we are doing? Or are we building our education? Are we building the educational system, Islamic education and other educations we need? Then the other thing, how about honesty? Are we being honest in whatever we are doing? I mean, we are honest in the way and manner we handle leadership. We are honest in the way and manner we conduct ourselves. And how about the issue of justice and fairness? These are things that we need to also look at as we continue to build our community. And I pray Allah Ta'ala bless us, guide us, and be with us. Whatever I say which is wrong, may Allah forgive me and you, and take it away from our minds, and make it possible for us to get correction. And whatever I said which is right and correct, may Allah help me and you to implement the best out of it. Inshallah, we're going to stop here. And if there are questions, I think the questions will start from tomorrow because no question is given to me. If there are questions, do we have time next? Okay. So we don't have time, we have exhausted the time. I'll collect the questions so that tomorrow we now reserve time to answer the questions. That is what we usually do. I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us our shortcomings. Just as we have mentioned yesterday, this tafsir is being based on sponsorship that some people that are praying in the masjid decided. They decided on their own that they are going to sponsor the airing of this particular tafsir in Badegi Radio between 1 to 1:30 p.m. But at the end, they paid 300,000 and then remain 200,000 that they expect the other Muslims that are participating may probably mobilize the balance. Yesterday, someone gave 5,000 naira, and it's with the people that actually are taking care of that. We hope before the end of the 10 days they gave, some people will take care of the remaining balance, inshallah al-Karim, so that it can continue to be aired. For those that want to be following it on air, it is aired in Badegi Radio between 1 to 1:30 p.m. every day. And then I learned that it is on YouTube and Facebook and other things for those that are far that might like to actually follow. May Allah Ta'ala be with us. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. اللهم ربنا تقبل صيامنا وقيامنا وركوعنا وسجودنا وجعلنا من عبادك الراشدين. اللهم يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث اصلح لنا شأننا كله لا تدع لنا ذنبا الا غفرته ولا هما الا فرجته ولا دينا الا قضيته ولا مريضا الا شفيته ولا ميتا الا رحمته ولا مبتلا الا عافيته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة الا قضيتها برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. ربنا ظلمنا انفسنا وان لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.